Hello, fellow truth seekers. For you out there who are trying to seek the truth, this podcast is for you. If you have an open mind, then this episode is for you. If you are trapped in dogma and have a very clear mindset on how the world works and you don't want to change your mindset, this episode may not be for you. We're going to unpack the Lord's Prayer and how that's been misinterpreted through the millennia to the current date. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I support religion. I support Christianity as a whole. It's generally something that improves people's lives. We have evidence that shows this. If you aren't religious and you become religious, your life inherently becomes better. So for those who are currently subscribed to a religion, I don't want to disgrace them or disrespect them in any way. That's not at all what I'm trying to do here. I'm really just going off what I said in the beginning, is just trying to seek the truth. And anyone who is in a religion should actually understand that God himself in the religion stated he wants you to seek the truth. He doesn't mind you questioning his teachings. In fact, he actually likes it. Therefore, we can move forward now with the blessing of trying to interpret the deeper meaning of this existence without any fear of judgment for what we are about to do. Because most people who get into Christianity are loving people and they live good lives, and I respect pretty well everything that they stand by. So I want to make that clear. I really respect that about religious people and their religion and how they follow it to the T, sacrifice their lives, not like actually sacrifice their lives, but like live their lives in sacrifice to those teachings. I really honor that. And I want to do the same in my life. I just want to move towards something that's based upon the deepest truth, which a lot of Christianity works for some people and not for others. Therefore, it's not full truth. The meaning of truth means it's a one-size-fits-all for everybody. So truth isn't, you can't deny it. Truth, if this is true, what I'm about to share, it should help everybody. Otherwise, it's not true. It should take a weight off everybody. Otherwise, there's something missing. Truth is inherently true for everyone. That's where I want to focus to avoid, what's the word? Having conflict between one side and another. Because I think the main truths are what is important, and then there's like branches of that truth which can be manipulated and corrupted, but the truth is what binds us and keeps us together. With that being said, let's start off with the Lord's Prayer. So, our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. There's one that I like better than this. It's on my phone that I'm recording on. So this is what we're going to work off. Now, I'll break this down. There's two ways to pray this. And it's massive. So, it's massive depending on which way you pray it, how you interpret it, and how you actually feel about it as you're praying it. So, our Father in the heavens, obviously, we're acknowledging a source that is above us, beyond us, and we are talking to him as a father. But the actual, I think, Greek wording for this father is more, it's deeper than father that they interpreted it from. It is more like abundant source. It's like this field of abundance and love. It wasn't really just father. It's giver of life. It's not really meant to be a guy figure. It's just meant to be bringer of life. It's not meant to be a guy. It's one thing, because we have been ruled by might is right for, our whole society has been a masculine-based society, which we are starting to realize that, well, the females are actually the ones closest to unconditional love. They are the nurturers. Guys are the protectors. So we need to sort of acknowledge this divine feminine and divine masculine, which hasn't been acknowledged. So in the new society, we will be acknowledging females as divine leaders in their own right. I personally believe the females that I've experienced in my life are more grounded and nurturing in the reality of this construct. They have a better grasp on what's important. Guys get distracted, easily corrupted to try and get more. Females generally want to sort of prosper and give. Guys sometimes take. So if you have sort of one gender leading society, this is where it can go too far one way, too far into the ego, which is where we've gone. Hallowed be your name. We're acknowledging that you are holy. It's a holy name. This is where it gets interesting. Your kingdom come. So let your kingdom come, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, this is not meant to be a subservience declaration. It's not meant to be you waiting for God. Lord, let your kingdom come, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So you're not meant to be waiting for this to come. You're meant to be declaring it within yourself. That's what this is. If God's will was to be done here, then his kingdom will come on earth as it is in heaven. Only if his will be done. His will is our will. If we are connected to this unconditional love, then our will is the same as God's. Therefore, we are igniting ourselves, we are uplifting ourselves in praying this, not worshiping. We're empowering. Let's move on. Give us today our daily bread. Give us, this is meant to mean, give us, it's not just food, give us only what our spirit can handle. So don't put temptations on my plate that I can't handle. And this is also meant to be a self-declaration. I'm not going to take on things that are going to affect my spirit negatively. Be careful what you are around. Be careful who you are around, who's in your circle. Be careful what you bring into your spirit. That we don't get overwhelmed by any of the pressures of the world. That we stay, grounded in what's important. That's what give us today our daily bread means. Give us what nourishes us. Give us what nourishes us and our soul. So we can continue to carry out your will here on earth as we are divinely connected to that source. And forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. So I guess I contradicted myself a little bit with the bread part. It does talk about temptation, specifically there. We all know about forgiveness. So I think it pretty well sums it up anyways. It's just the deeper truth of the prayer. It's to be in alignment with God, not to worship him as a separate source, but as an actual connected source. Now, if you think about this misinterpretation, it's profound. It actually changes all of society. If you trace right back to the beginning where this started, it's all about control. So if you're teaching subservience in your religion, then you're showing people that they need a mediator to get to the divine. And that's a lie. So this is my problem with religion at its current state. Christianity is the religion that I was brought up into, but there's other religions. So I don't want to discount all religions just because I was brought up in one. That's the one that I'm familiar with. And that one I know it's all about worshiping Jesus as he is the special one. He is the special one and we are all below him, and we must go through him to get to God. So basically I'm saying, you're the special one. We're evil sinners. We need you to be able to get into heaven. And then this creates this disparity between the rich and the poor, where the poor are begging for more, giving tidings for more and asking for more, when really it's been taken from them by the people who are trying to teach them these deep meanings. They're keeping them lower sociologically than the priests. Why would they do that if they didn't want to stay in power? If everybody all understood that the kingdom of heaven was within you and all you would have to do is live your life in alignment with that God source, in alignment with unconditional love, then you could bring upon into your life the kingdom of heaven onto earth. So it's been manipulated from early on to be a subservience religion, when really it was meant to be a declaration of alignment. And they're two very different things. One, you need something. The other, you are an enlightened, divine being who needs nothing, just yourself. Big difference here. Big difference. I hope I've packed that out pretty well. There's other scriptures, like Jesus says stuff like, I want to double check this. Hang on. And there's a few other scriptures as well which state the same fact that I'm highlighting here, which is we are meant to be uplifted as individuals, not as subservient to that which is our creator. We are meant to actually connect to that source while we're here and live in alignment with that, not worship as a separate deity or whatever it's called. And there's other scriptures, like Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. No one gets to the Father except through me. So he says, I am the way, the truth, and the light. You can follow me. I hear those parts. I hear him saying, you need to go through me to get to God. But then he contradicts himself, because in other scriptures he says stuff like, let me just check exactly. The kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God is within you. It's also something that Jesus said. So why would I need to go through Jesus if the kingdom of heaven is already within me? He said, I have set you an example that you should do as I have done. I grab all the messages and I see a coherent truth here, which Jesus was trying to set an example to us of how to be. He wasn't trying to show us by having us follow him. He was trying to empower us to be in connection with the Lord, which the only way you can do that is through understanding that the kingdom of heaven is already within you. And that's what Jesus' message was. Not much more I really need to say, but I think there is a little bit of a connection I'd like to make into our current experience and how this affects us and how this has caused our society to live in a way that I don't think actually aligns with what God's true identity, God's true source is. And I think that's why, I'll get into some personal experiences now, and hopefully people out there can relate to it, where, okay, so you live your life as a Christian, following the Bible, and Don't have sex before marriage. It's a simple one. But then in this generation, you might not even have money to get married. We also know that getting married is just the law, signing a dotted line to say that you are legally married. So now you've got the same name. Personally, I don't care if the government, some separate source to me in my household, my kingdom, says that I can sign a dotted line, which is that now, since I signed that proves my love? That scribble? No. My love is there before marriage. So it's painting this rule based around this rule, and then fear, which if you don't listen to the rule, there's consequences that don't line up in our current society. Also, if you look at the fact that what's the highest form of a love? Well, it's when two individuals have an energy force so strong, it pulls them together, magnifies them to the point where they want to get closer. These two individuals, they feel connected. They end up wanting to talk. They want to be close enough to each other where they can share intellect. But then they realize that they are enjoying this intellectual process so much that they actually want to come closer into this feeling dimension. This dimension not of words, but of feeling, of love. And that is when they actually want to become so close to each other that they go inside one another. They actually become one. And this has been shown in the religion as a bad thing. You look at uncontacted tribes, they're fully open with their sex. It's not a bad thing, and they have no sexual predators in their society. I want to think of some other examples, a little bit more on sex. It's like if you aren't looking at sex as unconditional love, then what are we doing? Like, what am I trying to say? Love is like sex in the manifest. So you could just say, what is the physical manifestation of love? And that's sex. So yeah, it's a great thing as long as you are connected to this unconditional love sort of energy. Then you're not going to do anything that harms anyone. Yeah, moving on. I think if any group of people says that they have the right message, and another group of people, they say your message is wrong, they automatically disconnect both of you from the conversation. For anyone to be saying I have the truth and you don't, and what you are doing is wrong, and there will be consequences for that, that's evil. So all of Christianity's teachings, I'm sorry to say, but they've been based off evil, because they leave out all these people who are being shunned upon and said that they are worse, when the people who actually often need the help. They're the ones who actually need the help due to their life experience, not getting love, the proper love that they needed from their parents or society. And they feel that they haven't been given love, and then they get told that they have to go to church to worship, to encounter love. And I just look at society as like, there's a big hierarchy of people. There's people who have had good opportunity, and there's people who have bad opportunity. And a lot of the people with good opportunities I've been given love, and they end up being maybe brought up in a Christian household. And then people who haven't been given good opportunity, the parents of the household haven't been given much compassion in their life. They've been always looked at as a number, and they never really got given a fair chance. And then they sort of get told they're going to hell if they don't do this. Look, I'm not trying to say that there's any living conditions which make one person better than another. I'm actually trying to say the opposite to that. It's just so hard to put words to these things. Oh, I'll try this one again. Which is what makes it so challenging here. And then we put in these ideas of right and wrong when it's already so challenging just to be here. And then we have these rules that we've made which make some people go to hell and then other people go to heaven, when really we're just meant to all realize our divine connection or not. You don't need to. If you don't feel that, then that's fine. That's the point. We're all experiencing different experiences. Why would we all be experiencing the same thing here? You know? It wouldn't make sense. So there shouldn't be right and wrong. You know? There should be acceptance. It should just be about acceptance. Because we realize that we don't know what's right and wrong. How could we? When you fast forward billions of years, all of this is nothing. It's just an experience. And it's a gift that we have this ability to even consciously think about these things. And that's really the point today, is to realize that, yeah, all of that doesn't matter. It's all okay for all of us to be on differing ends of the spectrum, but just come back to unconditional love. Yeah. I am excited actually about a lot of the things that I'm seeing in the world, because when I first started this podcast, I was very worried about the way the world was going. I was thinking we were very potentially doomed. We were going to merge with AI and disconnect our souls from the God source. And I think that was the reason why, one of the reasons why I needed to make the podcast, as well as to just help. Which is what makes it so challenging here. And then we put in these ideas of right and wrong when it's already so challenging just to be here. And then we have these rules that we've made which make some people go to hell and then other people go to heaven, when really we're just meant to all realize our divine connection or not. You don't need to. If you don't feel that, then that's fine. That's the point. We're all experiencing different experiences. Why would we all be experiencing the same thing here? You know? It wouldn't make sense. So there shouldn't be right and wrong. You know? There should be acceptance. It should just be about acceptance. Because we realize that we don't know what's right and wrong. How could we? When you fast forward billions of years, all of this is nothing. It's just an experience. And it's a gift that we have this ability to even consciously think about these things. And that's really the point today, is to realize that, yeah, all of that doesn't matter. It's all okay for all of us to be on differing ends of the spectrum, but just come back to unconditional love. Yeah. And you just start to realize that, wow, a lot of what we've been doing here is just like petty shit. Sorry about the crackling, I need to stop moving. And really, the thinking brain, analytical brain, has been causing so much torment for us all along. Wow, how crazy. All this time there is no right and wrong. It's just experiencing and actually not judging anyone. Wow, what a blessing to have that truth now, finally. So that way when we see someone else who's worse than us, we can go, oh, there's another version of us experiencing more hardship than I'm experiencing. Oh, there's a differing opinion to me. Oh, wow, cool. It's another version of me experiencing something else to bring to the whole, the God source, when we finish here, to have an ultimate data. All the data then comes back into the source. You just think about it and you can realize that how could right and wrong matter in the vastness of the world? What only matters is unconditional love. What I'm a lot trying to preach about. I would like to share, like, if you've ever had a deep knowing in your life, this is something that's interesting, and I'm going to share mine, personal experience. Because deep knowings are fascinating, because it's like information which we scientifically know is somewhat true in ourselves, dormant information that we are learning to connect to, hidden powers of healing and energy and, actual mystical abilities like telepathy. So reading people's minds and being able to tell the future and the past. And one of the knowings I had was when I was young, I knew that the world resembled me. So I was like, wow, I was young and I was like, oh, I'm Oliver. I'm this living body. And I learned that there's all these little microscopic individuated cells in me, and they're all working in unison, collaborating perfectly. There's not one cell going, hey, no, fuck you, I want to go surf today. They're just all in perfect oneness. And I knew inherently that, wow, the way that we've been created is completely mirrored to the cosmos and what God is. So God, I think, is that oneness that we are collaborated with. That's how we exist, is through God's oneness. But then as science goes on, we see that cells, I don't know perfectly, like there's other people who explain this. And by the way, a lot of the when I get into deep philosophical stuff and religious stuff, I'm doing my best from where I am. There's a lot of people who are way further along this road than me who can explain this stuff better. So don't ever think that I think that what I'm saying is the whole truth and you only need to hear it from me. Probably go somewhere else and get these deeper facts from other people. My point is to give living experience from a normal guy, someone just like you, on how I'm doing this stuff as a normal guy, as I explained in my earlier episodes. Now I lost my train of thought. Just check. We know that our atoms and stuff, there's like a nucleus and a neuron or something. I don't know. I don't know. But they basically mirror galaxies. So mirror a sun and planets, circling the sun, and the way that works, that like gravity, the connection, invisible connections, so similar to what's in us. And how would a little human, without even really being able to talk, understand, oh yeah, we're just an extension of what's out there in the world, and we are just mirrored that. So like the cosmos is a living being. I had a feeling that God just was everything. So we are just a cell in God. That's all everything is just God. And then another way to look at that is all this is just a breath. That was the Big Bang. So that was God taking a breath. When he takes a breath back in, that's the experience done. It could be billions of years. And as he breathes in, he gets information. The same as when we learn about breath, as we are in our society learning that one of the highest power sources is breath. And well, this lines up really well with the way God works as well. Breath is where we get our highest information. That's how we can connect to God, is through breath. And potentially we are all the breath of God. So it's an interesting connection, because there's actually a lot of truth being shown to us now in the science world, where they've noticed these connections in our biology to the cosmos, and spooky action at a distance, and a couple other fancy words, where we start to realize that our bodies aren't disconnected from I don't want to say God, so disconnected from the all, but we're actually a piece of it. So we can now see this in science terms, that hey, we are not actually disconnected. We are all somewhat connected. We're now starting to grasp this. But this is where this deeper knowing is, I think, the proof in the pudding. But we got to use our factual brain, our analytical brain, to make sure we're just not making all this up, right? And we're starting to see this connection now, which says that we have unlimited potential within our biology. As we have now realized that we aren't separate from. What does this mean? Well, it's the same thing about Jesus's prayer, the Lord's Prayer. It's trying to bring God's unconditional love into your living experience now, because you're not separate from. You never were. So what you again can realize is, okay, there's information in my cells, and if I'm connected to, if my cells were made in a mirror image of the cosmos, well then I can connect to the cosmos, getting information from that, which then I can start to extrapolate time, future, past, because there's unlimited knowledge within the cosmos, and we start to realize everything's alive. Planets are alive. Everything's alive, and everything's in communication. This is why we only see such a small amount of the light spectrum. Our five senses, we don't have the ability to see what's really happening. But there is deep truths within us, and this is the empowering message that a lot of spiritual people are trying to tell you, that they try and say, oh, you need to wake up, you need to be awakened, or you need to be enlightened. And it's not this woo-woo idea. It's more what I would like to say is the awakening is just the next logical course of action in your life or evolution. So it's not like this big spiritual thing. It's just this logical step forward. You realize that I'm not separate from everything. When I die, I go back to. So awakening is just the reality of that. It's not this big process. It's just, I realize that when I die, we potentially have another life, or it's realizing that this reality doesn't serve us, as in this way of living in this current society doesn't serve us. That's called waking up. That's called the awakening. It's called becoming enlightened. It doesn't have to be this mystical thing. It's just, this society isn't working. This selfish might is right society, that's not working. This is all a lie. We actually all are one. We're actually a part of the universe, and there's more there that we could know, and this is all the information that we can know at this current time. Okay, well, let's start going towards the truth, our truth. That's awakening. I just like to break that down a little bit, because I think people get a little scared by the idea of it, because a lot of spiritual people make it sound so like, wait, it will just come upon you. Nothing will happen. You just wake up, realize that it's just that. You just, this is stupid. There you go. If you think that, you're awake. So yeah, like if you think, like for me, awakening is realizing that I don't need money. I don't want money. I just want love. I'm awake now. I get it. I was living for a lie. I was living for money. Now I'm living for love. I'm awake. That's all it is. But yeah, so when you think about, so it's pretty cool. My deep knowing as a kid. Because then when you really think deeply about that, and I know this is going to get a little bit far-fetched, but you start to extrapolate and you go, wow, okay, geez, there's going to be some hidden powers within us then. Clearly, like if you think that this is it, well, that's what we're made to believe. But then you realize how much more there is out there. You start to realize, well, yeah, time is just a construct. So, geez, what even is that? We could get information from other times. It's like a superpower. But then you think about like science fiction. Maybe science fiction isn't too far away from the truth. The further we go along, more science fiction becomes reality. That's already happened. So you can start to have an open mind in the unlimited potential of our biology. Because for us to fully tap into our potential, we have to first become spiritually rich. So we have to first be a society that leads from a very high in spirit and intellect combined. Not this sort of egocentrical society that you're going to be stuck in the ego's world. The ego is the monkey brain. So if you want to stay with the monkey brain, then in the ego world, then that's as far as it goes in the monkey reality. But then if you think about the ability to get more information, and you realize there's almost gatekeepers. There's like a game, there's levels, and you can only get to the next level if you are not this egotistical individual. You're an enlightened individual who couldn't hurt another soul. Well, unless you get to this point where you couldn't hurt another soul, you're not going to be given more power as a society. To get more power, you have to first be worthy of more power. Right now, we live in a society that thinks power corrupts ultimately, when this is not true. Power demands ultimately nothing. Once we start to embody that, then the aliens are more advanced neighbors out there will open themselves up to us to show us more hidden potentials. But why would they do that if we were still in this might is right mindset? They wouldn't, because we would try and take all of their information and use it against them. You know, they're not that dumb. So you realize that, wow, okay, we actually are in this process of washing away all the previous lies of society. And we're starting to make a new world. Something that I'm starting to finally see in the world. When I first made this podcast, I had really no hope in the world. I didn't see much out there about what I'm talking about. And that's why I was compelled to start voicing it. But then as I've gone along this journey, I see there's a lot of people out there who are much further along this road than I am, who are doing this same sort of work that I am. And I'm realizing that the process of unveiling the truth has actually already begun. And I don't necessarily feel like I'm the one to do it anymore. I was worried that there was no one doing it. So that's why I thought, geez, I'm going to have to try, because if someone doesn't try, then we might be stuck in the ego world forever and never get into our true potential and get into this galactic, true God source of unconditional love, which is just a utopia. So you realize that we've almost all actually been getting conditioned to the point until we had enough of this fear-based reality to start to get rid of all the businesses that don't serve us. Get rid of the financial institution that doesn't serve us at the moment. Have a more coherent society based off individuals' own prospering in their life. And you can see why aliens can't come down yet, but how they're actually, this whole process is a process of over thousands of years, finally again getting to a golden age. You know, probably what the Egyptians were, which was probably a surviving race from a cataclysm, where there was a golden age before us. Now, this whole society, we all know, like through Graham Hancock and Joe Rogan and a bunch of other people, and monolith structures around the world that we see from ancient civilizations who built structures that we would struggle, if not at all, be able to create now, showing that we've actually been around this process before. And what is this process? This process is like I said before, the God's breath of life is this cosmos, potentially, just a way to look at it. And the highest form of God's breath is a consciousness that can understand itself and start to understand the actual cosmos, which is where it comes from. This is God's highest form of creation, which is us. And God is very proud of his creation, where we actually are the manifestation of God's love created into physical form, and that is human beings. And God's test is, or what the ultimate test is, can these individuated versions of me be able to find themselves again through this reality, this construct? Until we find ourselves, remember our true nature in this construct, then we essentially don't pass the game, because we only do that if we live from a society of unconditional love, meaning there's no inequality at all. It's completely impossible. This is this divine feminine, this nurturing aspect, which has been missing in society. It's why males have been ruling society, because it's been corrupt. And in potential golden age, there's, spiritual people will talk about it. I don't know enough to talk in definite, but we know that these structures were there. So we know that something's been going on. And what I believe and what I'm, proclaiming as truth is that they were in the process of living in a society of unconditional love, and then other aliens and universes and timelines, whatever, can all start to then come into this reality. And this is what you would call a golden age, where there's abundance, just love, and just this sort of reality that I think all know is possible, but we don't live in here. And with all that being said, we are at the point now of the crossroads where we will either free ourselves from the chains of this reality, and then we can actually get into the next reality, the next stage of our evolution, or we can continue down the ego realm of might is right and everything that we know scientifically is true, and we're going to continue down this world of, we're going to die one day, and once we die, it's over, so we better plug into AI and live forever. And we continue down this sort of hierarchy of rich and poor and non-equality. Okay, well then we continue down the age where we've been now, potentially for another 10,000 years, right? But we're at the point now where we could veer away from that and come into a utopia. So that's what I'm actually very excited about, because not long ago I thought that wasn't actually possible. Now I believe it is possible. I want to share what I'm going to do to make this utopia possible in my life. I'm going to share it now. This is my, what'd you call it? This is my contract to you and myself. So I'm training jiu-jitsu right now, and I love jiu-jitsu. They say in life, go towards your highest passion and do more of that. This is what I talk about, finding out about yourself and living from that point. And I'm gonna combine jiu-jitsu, holotropic breathing, or sort of like Wim Hof breathing techniques, and James Nestor. So jiu-jitsu, breath work mastery, ice bath conditioning, so sort of like nervous system control, and then homeschooling curriculum. So a way for people to completely disconnect from the school curriculum and get a schooling system that's based around the three components of our life: mental, physical, and spiritual. A school that's going to be based off empowering the individual to reach their highest form. Individuated basis, we're going to be running this. So this is what I'm going to bring into my reality, because I saw the gap. And if someone out there likes this, I'm sharing it because I'm not selfish. I don't actually want this just for me. I want this for the world. I want someone else to do this, and my goal is to create a movement where every suburb has one of these schools. So anyone who wants to opt out of the system can give their kid the actual upbringing that they always desired. One that prospers their creativity, their physical abilities, and their mental abilities, and brings when the kid goes home, he's uplifted and it's going to be, going home better. So it's going to help the parents, and when that kid grows up, he's going to be the leader of the world, the next generations of this world, and they're going to make the change that I want in this world. And how does this all start? It starts from our kids, how we look after the kids. This is where in the early messages, I talked about looking after your family. I'm not just talking about your fucking family. I'm talking about the human family, for fuck's sake. Everybody. Because you're fucked if, we have a nuclear war. Your family's fucked. It doesn't matter how good it is. So we've got to look at everyone. It's the only thing that makes sense. So this is going to be my goal, to bring a holistic approach to schooling into each suburb. So the movement will be other people can copy what I've done, and hopefully this can spread as just an easy way to sort of run a society in a way, or run a school system for young people. It's going to be called Holistic Jiu-Jitsu. So I share this now because I'm not fearful of what most people are fearful of, someone taking my idea. I just want prosperity. That's all I want. There's plenty out there in the world. We just need to be compassionate. So that's why I've shared this information of my goal, because it's going to take me about 5 years to do, maybe even 10. I'm only low in my jiu-jitsu journey now, and I'm financially struggling in a business where I've experienced what it's like to live in this world of always trying to get more and more and more. I've done that, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm living for meanings. So I'm living more for, I want meaning over money. And that's what's going to be important to me, and that's kind of the deep message as well, is just to empower people to realize what's true for them, so they can start to give back to their community, or just look after yourself. It's really my biggest message, is realize that you are perfect the way you are, exactly where you are, and to just start learning and loving yourself, because that's what Jesus and Christianity and all religions always were trying to tell us, is to just find the kingdom of heaven within us, bring that will into our earth, and the kingdom of heaven will come here. Do you get it? Our will be done, because we have the kingdom of heaven within us. So when we pray the Lord's Prayer, our Father who is in heaven, holy be your name. Thy will be done, thy kingdom come, on earth as it is in heaven. God, your kingdom will come if your will be done here, which your will is my will, as I am made in your image. So let me walk in alignment with you, God, creator of this fucking everything. Let me, simple little me, live in alignment with that high power source at all times, and the kingdom of heaven will come on earth. This is what we're meant to do. Find unconditional love, and the kingdom of heaven will come here. Aliens will show themselves soon, especially if we keep on driving from this place of awakening, sick of the lies and corruptions and just wanting truth and love, that means you're awake, brother and sister. So welcome. Let us keep on moving forward with that in mind. I love you. Over and out.